The Shooting Range. In this episode, Pages of History, how the USSR built their first gas turbine, MBT. Challenge, capturing points on VTOL aircraft. And Metal Beasts, the heaviest ship in the game. Well, dear viewers, with this episode, we start telling you about the new vehicles introduced by the New Power Update. The next few weeks, Metal Beasts will showcase some great tanks and aircraft, but this week we decided to start with a ship. This ship belongs to the heaviest class in the game, the battleships, and moreover, this ship is the heaviest of them all. Please welcome the glory and pride of the German Navy, the new heavyweight champion in War Thunder, Battleship Helgoland, with a BR of 6.0. The armor on its sides and turrets is 300mm thick. Cold bunkers add even more protection, and the engine allows this ship to reach speeds above 24 knots. Its main caliber is a battery of 12 305mm guns in 6 twin-gun turrets. Auxiliary caliber weapons include 14 150mm guns and another 14 88mm guns mounted in casemates. But wait, there's more! A total of 6 torpedo launchers are installed in the bow and the stern areas. For this monster, the primary source of danger is enemy battleships, since their guns are just as powerful and can penetrate your armor from a long distance and reach the ammo vaults. So, if you see an enemy flagship, focus your fire on it first before paying any attention to smaller vessels like cruisers. To help you find the right lead and distance, we recommend that you use a ranging shot. That will enable you to make corrections faster and shorten the time between your aimed shots. And don't forget about your secondary weapons. Of course, they're way smaller than the 305mm guns, but a 150mm is no joke either. They're still very much capable of giving some heat to cruisers, especially in close combat. You'll also find them useful while your main caliber is reloading to create a constant flow of rounds at your enemy and give them no time for respite. If that's too tricky, you can also entrust the AI with that task. Just set the priorities and focus on the main guns yourself. Now, is there anything else you should be wary of? The torpedoes, of course. Monstrous battleships, Helgoland included, are large and slow, which makes them very appealing targets. Fortunately, few torpedoes can penetrate the sturdy sides of this ship. Those who have a running depth of around a meter are unlikely to inflict any noticeable damage, but those that can go deeper, about 4 meters, are deadly. The bottom part of this ship is almost unprotected. Another obvious threat is bombers. There are no anti-aircraft guns on this battleship, which leaves it defenseless against enemy aircraft. Fortunately, your allies cruising on smaller vessels are certain to have lots of AA guns. Let them cover you while you fulfill your main duty, which is destroying the heaviest and juiciest enemy ships. The new gas turbine engines are just as interesting for tank designers as they were for aviation engineers. Fair enough, they produced high power while being comparatively compact and lightweight. They could use various types of fuel. They were easy to start even below freezing. Their exhaust was transparent. They even made less noise. Moreover, such engines didn't need a water cooling system, and their good torque could make it possible to install a simpler transmission. Seems like a perfect engine for a tank. One of the first proponents for the gas turbine engines was Joseph Kotin, the main engineer for the IS and KV tanks. On his initiative, engineers in Leningrad started developing new machines in 1948. and the first experience they received showed that it wasn't as cut and dried as they'd hoped. Indeed, the gas turbine engine was compact and lightweight, but it consumed almost twice as much fuel as diesel engines and required twice as much air to burn the fuel respectively. That single fact threw all other benefits out of the window, since the space freed by the more compact engine had to be filled with massive air filters and fuel tanks. The biggest disadvantage was, however, in the price. It was just too expensive to make. After learning all of this, the USSR would have stopped the development altogether. But in 1966, they discovered that the Americans started designing a new tank, and it was to have a 1,500 horsepower gas turbine engine. And of course, the party members who supported the new technology simply could not ignore that. So Kortin, despite all the flaws and difficulties, suggested that the T-64 have a new power plant installed. The tests of the new experimental tank started as early as in 1969. They made it clear that the current chassis couldn't handle the increased load and had to be redesigned. Thus, the Soviet Union got its third MBT, the T-80. In 1976, 4 tank factories started mass producing them, and it was put into service. For context, the gas turbine M1 Abrams only entered service in 1981. You can certainly say they won that leg of the arms race. What was the point, though? The T-80 never managed to replace the T-64 or the T-72, so all 3 models were produced simultaneously. The gas turbine engine was way more expensive than its diesel counterpart and gave no significant advantage. Yes, the T-80 showed much higher speeds during trials, but it also consumed almost twice as much fuel as the T-72. Factories showed little enthusiasm about the new tank either. Kharkov engineers pushed for a new 6 TD diesel engine that had the same power output and much lower fuel consumption. So, instead of the gas turbine T-80U, they started producing the T-80UD, where the D stands for, you get it, diesel. The T-80 had a long, bumpy ride full of ambiguous decisions. Some consider it to be the best Soviet MBT with an advanced engine. Others jump on it, saying the very existence of that model slowed down the development of better diesels. Nevertheless, the T-80 has forever taken its spot in the history of tank designs. With the New Power update, War Thunder now has vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. And of course, one of the first questions that came to our mind was, can we capture a point with it in mixed battles? These machines combine jet fighter speeds and vertical landing capabilities, so they should be at least as good for that as helicopters. Let's try it out, shall we? And of course, no staged videos will do. This has to be real, unpredictable, and live random battle. We'll take on that challenge in a British Harrier GR.1, which means we'll have to gain enough spawn points before being able to fly it. For that, we'll take an auxiliary machine, the British VFM-5 light tank, another new vehicle from the update, by the way. Its high speed will give us an opportunity to reach positions first and provide intel for our allies. We'll get closer to flying in the Harrier with each enemy destroyed by our allies based on our reconnaissance data. Our first battles are in domination, which means a good chance that the challenge will be completed quicker. The enemies are spread around the map and can easily miss one of the points. As it turned out, however, it was far from quick and simple. Either an enemy aircraft gun gives you no chance to get a good approach, or a random tanker shows remarkable marksmanship and sends you back to the hangar screen. Well, it's a challenge. So into battle we go. And it looks as though we're playing in Finland this time. Point A hasn't been captured, but there are enemy tanks around it. Great. We just so happen to have some bombs. Nice drop. No one's around to intervene. Let's land. We're getting lower. Almost done. but a sudden tank round interrupts the landing and leaves a pile of junk where our plane was. Damn it, we did miss that one. Okay, next attempt. This time on Wallonia. It looks like point A. The one in the town is captured by the enemy, but no tanks are guarding it. Let's go lower. And here's an always so helpful ally entering the capture area. Thank you so much. Whatever would we do without your help, good sir? If only we had just a little bit more time before the ally captured it. Still, no time to give up. Hürtgen Forest map. Let's go straight to the enemy home point. No pleasantries this time. Gently coming in. We've landed. We can try to capture the point right in front of an enemy Leopard. Looks like they're too preoccupied to notice us. Holding our breath. The trouble came where we least expected. A Soviet tanker came up close, definitely looking dazed and confused. How could that find its way into the capture area? The confusion didn't last long. Well, on to the next attempt. This one will happen on the Fire Arc map in the Conquest mode. And this time we're playing at night, which gives us a much better chance of landing unnoticed. Let's get closer to the tanking part of the map and hover near a cliff next to the capture area. Looks like there's still a battle going on up there, so we'll stay put. And now, the shooting seems quieter, and the Allies have started the capture. Time to leave the cover and land. Finally, zone captured, which means we have successfully completed the challenge. How about you? If you have any experience or a fun story of how you flew a VTOL aircraft, we'd be happy to read it. Now, it's time to wipe the sweat off our eyes and start answering your questions. The first question was sent by a player called Chistnik. Is the Su-7B BKL for ground RB worth the long grind? Should I just go for the MiG-21 SMT? Hi there. Both the Su-7 BKL and the MiG-21 SMT are great in mixed battles. If you expect to meet enemy aircraft, choose the MiG. Thanks to its great flight performance and air-to-air missiles, the MiG will make short work of them, leaving no barrier between it and ground targets. If the skies are already yours, go for the Su-7 BKL. 6 S-24 rockets and a ballistic computer will leave no tankers unfazed. The real Zhang Zarek asks, how do I join a dev server? Hi there. The new power update is already available on main servers for all players, but we can always tell you how to join dev in the future. First, go to the official War Thunder forum, then find the dev server section and click it. Find a topic with the needed testing date and download the dev launcher following the link in the top post. Another question comes from Mika Pratama. What is the lowest BR jet fighter in the game? Hi Mika. The lowest BR jet fighter is the American P-59A. It's only 5.3. It does have a good maximum speed compared to the others at this BR, but the acceleration dynamics and the climbing rates leave much to be desired. Ruru Asker writes, what is the best way to play the King Cobra? Hello there. The best part about the P-63 is the 37mm cannon. Before you join a battle, go on a test flight and make yourself comfortable with it, since the ballistics might be new for you. When you can confidently hit an enemy with a single shot, you're ready. And the last comment for today was written by the Kwange. I've been a bit confused about all the little details and information on the bomb sites for planes. For example, what does the little grey dot behind the crosshair represent? What part of the bomb site indicates where the bomb will actually drop? Hi there. That's a great question. The crosshair made up by the wide white lines is where the bomb is supposed to hit. The scale, showing degrees, can help you understand where the plane's nose is looking. If it's at 0, you're flying level. If it's negative, your nose is looking down, while a positive number indicates the opposite. Finally, that little grey circle, it shows the vector of your movement. Not the point your nose is looking at, but rather the direction of your movement. To better visualize it, let's apply the rudder to make the aircraft slip. It's clear now that the nose is looking sideways, but the aircraft still moves in the same direction. That's the vector that little grey circle is showing. Once more, that's all you're gonna get for today. You've been watching The Shooting Range by Gaijin Entertainment, and the next episode will premiere this next Sunday at 4 p.m. GMT or noon Eastern Time. Subscribe and click the bell if you don't want to miss our next videos. Don't forget to update your client to enjoy all the latest vehicles and graphics. Leave a like, share your thoughts and comments about the new update, and we'll see you in a week's time.